Now that we have created the prefabs for our player and for our platform, let us program our player jumping. But before that, we need to set some things up. First of all, we need to get a button. So here we need to create game object UI and we need to create a button. And automatically we have a canvas and a button. And I'm also going to set the canvas here to screen space camera. I'm going to attach the main camera, and also here for the scale mode, I'm going to set it at scale with screen size, and I'm going to change the reference resolution. So here 480 by 800 and set it to match width and height equally. Now I'm also going to quickly add a UI image because I just want to set this up so that this looks nicely. So this is going to be our background image. And here I'm going to choose one of the backgrounds. So let's say this one. And I'm going to set the native size. And also I'm going to set the X and the Y. And we can also reposition this. So if we don't like it like this, personally, I would like it to be like this. So reposition it a little bit. So something like this. So this is what we see in our game view. So I want to see these hills that are down practically. And now I'm going to take the button, remove the text, and this is going to be jump button. And again, we are going to resize it the same way as we did in the previous section. So simply resize it because this is a really nice way to get the input from the user, placing a button right here and then simply setting its alpha channel at 0 so that it's not visible. And now I can take the platform. So let me just take the platform and position it around here. Take the player, position it above the platform, and copy and paste the platform so that we have something to jump on. So we are going to try to jump from here up to here. For that, we need to create a script. So here I've created a scripts folder. Inside of it, I have two folders. So at the moment, simply create this player scripts. And inside of it, we also have player jump script. So create that script and attach it here on our player. So simply drag it and attach it on the player. And now I'm simply going to open it. So double click it. So MonoDevelop will open it. Now we need a couple of variables to work with. So I'm going to delete all of these functions here. And we are going to start with a public static player jump script. And this is going to be the instance of our script. And we are going to use it in order to set our jump power. And here we need a private rigid body 2D, which I'm going to call my body because we are going to use the rigid body in order to jump. And we also need a private animator because, we want to animate the player when he jumps. And I'm simply going to call him anim. Next, what we need is a private float, and this is going to be force X, and another private float, which is going to be force Y. Now, when we have multiple variables, we can declare them here on one line. This right here is equivalent to writing this. So we can write like this, private float X, but it's the same thing if we simply type here comma and say force Y, practically one and the same thing. And here we also need a private float, and this is going to be threshold X, which is going to be equal to 7, and this is going to be private float threshold Y, which is going to be equal to 14. And these are the variables that we are going to need. So our instance of the script, which we are going to use when we touch the button in order to set our button, and our rigid body, because we want to apply the force to the rigid body in order to move our player, the animator to animate him, and force X and force Y to add force X and force Y, obviously, and the threshold X and Y. And lastly, what we need is here a private bool set power and did jump, because we need to practically use this set power in order to set the power of our jump or jump force, and we also need this did jump in order to know when we have, well, practically jumped. Now we are going to create a void awake function. So awake, and I'm going to also create a void make instance function. And here we are simply going to check if our instance is equal to null. Then we are going to set the instance to be equal to this. We did this already, so we are simply setting the instance or the reference to our instance, this right here, to be our player jump script. And I'm going to call that here in the awake function. And now I'm going to, well, create another function, and this is going to be a public void set power function, and here I'm going to use bool set power. And here we are going to say this dot set power is equal to our set power, practically setting this power right here to this parameter. And I'm going to perform one test. So here I'm going to say if set power, and here I'm going to say else. And here I'm going to say debug.log, and here I'm going to type we are setting the power, so power, and here I'm going to type we are not, so not bit, it will be not setting the power. Now I'm going to demonstrate now how we are going to use the button in order to call this function right here. For that we need to go here in our jump button script, and here we need to type using Unity Engine.event systems. And here we need to implement iPointer, so pointer up handler or down handler, and here we also need to implement iPointer up handler. These are the interfaces that are going to tell us when we are, well, holding down the button and when we are, well, releasing the button or practically moving our finger or our click away from the button. In order to determine when we are touching and when we are releasing the button, we need to implement two functions. So the first one, public void on pointer down, and we need to pass a parameter pointer event data, which I'm going to name simply data. And I'm simply going to copy this, well, function here, and instead of on pointer down, this is going to be on pointer up, like this. And now what we need to do is practically here I can simply type debug.log, and here I can say we are touching the button, so the button like this, and here we can say we have released, so here the button will stay, we have released the button, and we can test this out right away. In order for this to work, we need to go in our Unity editor, and we need to select our button and attach our jump button script. So simply attach the jump button script, but before that create here jump button and then jump button script and attach it when you program it. So practically this is what you write. So implement or type using Unity Engine event systems, and then, well, implement iPointer down handler and up handler. So now take a look at the console when I run the game. So when we run the game, if I touch now here, we are going to say we are touching the button. If I release it, we are going to see we have released the button. But again, remember, we need to pass this or attach this script here on our button. And how we are going to, well, use our script in order to make our player jump, where we are simply going to type here if our player jump script dot instance is not equal to null, then what we are going to do, we are going to call our player, well, jump script dot instance dot set power, and here's going to be true, and I'm simply going to copy and paste this line of code, and instead of true, here is going to be equal to false, which is, well, this one right here. And if I run the game, and again if I hold the button, so if I click it, so let me just click it, we are setting the power we see printed here in the console. If I release it, we are not setting the power anymore. So this is how we are going to use this script in order to determine when we are holding the button and when we are releasing it. We are going to call this function right here. So in the next video, we are actually going to see how we are going to make our player jump, but I just wanted to prepare the logic before that. So see you in the next video.